Let's face it, in the gun world, opinions are louder than muzzle brakes, and everyone thinks they're an expert. But some calibers? They're just plain stupid. We're talking about the ones that make no sense to carry, cost a fortune to shoot, and perform like they're stuck in the 19th century, yet somehow, a bunch of people still swear by them like they're God's gift to ballistics. Today, we're diving into the top 5 calibers only idiots use. Harsh? Maybe. Honest? Absolutely. This isn't about being a snob, it's about cutting through the hype and calling out the rounds that should have been left on the drawing board. So, if your favorite pet caliber ends up on this list, don't get mad, just ask yourself why you're still wasting your time and money on it. Grab your popcorn, clear your chamber, and get ready because things are about to get loud, opinionated, and maybe a little painful, especially if your ego's tied to one of these rounds. Number 5.256 Remington, the Fading Star. Once a favorite among hunters for its flat trajectory and versatility, the 25.6 Remington is slowly slipping into the background of modern cartridge conversations. Developed by necking down the classic 36 Springfield to accept a 257 caliber bullet, the 25.6 found its sweet spot in long-range varminting and medium game hunting. It delivered blazing speeds, light recoil, and deadly accuracy on coyotes, deer, and antelope. For decades, it was the go-to-round for those who wanted reach and punch without jumping up to magnum recoil. But today, the spotlight has shifted. The rise of newer cartridges like the 6.5 Creedmoor, 243 Winchester, and even the 6mm Creedmoor has pushed the 25.6 into near-forgotten territory. Factory ammo is less common, and many modern rifles aren't even chambered for it anymore. It's not that the round lost its edge, it's just that today's shooters want more efficient ballistics, better barrel life, and easier ammo access. For reloaders and die-hard fans, the 25.6 still offers exceptional performance. But in the evolving world of precision and hunting rifles, it's no longer the star it once was. It remains respected, just no longer in the limelight. Number 4.32 Winchester Special, the Forgotten Middle Child. The 32 Winchester Special is the textbook definition of a forgotten middle child in the world of lever-action cartridges. Introduced in 1901, it was designed to sit neatly between the popular 30-30 Winchester and the more powerful 35 Remington. On paper, it made sense, offering slightly more bullet diameter and power than the 30-30, while maintaining mild recoil and compatibility with classic lever-action rifles. But in practice, it never really found its place. The 32 Special didn't bring enough of an upgrade to lure hunters away from their trusty 30-30S, and it lacked the punch to compete with harder-hitting calibers. It also had a reputation for being finicky with accuracy, especially as barrel wear set in. Over time, it just got overlooked. Today, the 32 Winchester Special survives mostly in dusty gun cabinets and as a curiosity for collectors and old-school lever-action fans. Ammo is still made, but it's scarce and often expensive. It's not a bad cartridge, far from it, but it never lived up to its special name. In the grand lineup of classic American hunting rounds, the 32 wins special sights quietly, a relic of good intentions and missed potential. Number 37M8 Remington, the caliber that tries too hard. The 7M8 Remington is one of those calibers that seems like it should be a big deal, but somehow it just never quite gets there. Based on the 308 Winchester case necked down to 7M, it offers a solid blend of flat trajectory, manageable recoil, and good ballistic performance. It's accurate, efficient, and hits hard enough for deer, hogs, and even elk at reasonable distances. So why doesn't it dominate the hunting world? Simple, the 7M8 tries too hard to be everything for everyone. It markets itself as the perfect middle ground, but in doing so, it gets lost between more specialized options. The 308 has broader support. The 6.5 Creedmoor wins in long-range circles, and younger hunters are drawn to newer, trendier calibers. To its credit, the 7M8 is a great performer, especially for youth or recoil-sensitive shooters, but it suffers from being just too safe. Not bold enough to stand out, not common enough to be mainstream, and not exotic enough to be cool. It lives in cartridge limbo. The 7M8 isn't bad. It just never made the leap from solid choice to must-have. And in today's crowded field, that's not quite enough. Number 2.41 Magnum, the caliber nobody asked for. The 41 Magnum is the classic answer to a question almost no one was asking. Introduced in the 1960s as a supposed sweet spot between the 357 Magnum and the 44 Magnum, it was pitched as the perfect law enforcement round, offering more stopping power than the 357 without the wrist-snapping recoil of the 44. Sounds great in theory, but in practice? Not so much. Cops didn't bite. They stuck with the 357 or went full 44 when they needed the extra punch. And hunters? Most were already well served by the 44 Magnum, which had a head start, better availability, and more factory support. The 41 Magnum just didn't fit anywhere cleanly, too much for some, not enough for others. To this day, the 41 Magnum has a cult following of die-hard fans who swear by its power and accuracy. But let's be honest, it's a niche round. Ammo is hard to find, expensive when you do, and very few new guns are chambered for it. It's not a bad cartridge, it actually performs very well. But in the end, the 41 Magnum remains a middle child Magnum with great potential, minimal demand, and a name that outlived its purpose. Number 1.300 Savage, the obsolete oddball. The 300 Savage was a serious innovation back in 1920. Designed to deliver 36 performance in a shorter action, it gave lever-action rifles like the Savage Model 99 a new lease on life. For decades, it was a respected hunting cartridge, fast, accurate, and effective on deer-sized game. But fast forward to today, and the 300 Savage has become the odd man out in a world full of modern magnums and precision cartridges. The problem? It was overtaken by its own descendants. The 308 Winchester, which owes a lot to the 300 Savage's case design, came along in the 1950s and did everything better: flatter trajectory, higher pressure tolerance, broader adoption. Since then, the 300 Savage has been slowly fading into obscurity. Ammo is still made, but in limited runs. Rifles chambered for it are almost exclusively vintage, and hand-loading is basically required if you want consistent performance. It's not a bad round by any means. In fact, it's still very capable, but it's become a curiosity rather than a contender. In the end, the 300 Savage is a historical stepping stone, a cartridge that mattered once, but now just quietly collects dust in the shadows of progress.